our courts, they will kill this country. The courts, the judiciary will destroy this country. I'm telling you. Because we are getting to a place in this country where people may now want to take the law into their own hands, the way you suggested in the previous program.
Very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadel Kabiru. Is it time we change the constitution so the president has powers to do what he damn well pleases for this country? I mean, with Herman Manyora, we're going to talk about that. Prof. Kotu Sekjen Francis Atuoli says litigations after litigations are hindering the president from performing. We need to give him powers so that he can do what he needs to do for this country. Do you believe in this idea?
Well, Francis Atuoli, my brother and friend, is entitled to his own opinion and his own views. In my thinking, the president already has more powers than he needs. He already has power to do what he needs to do. The president has sufficient powers to do what he needs to do. Yes.
So changing the constitution is a no?
In fact, if people were to be asked, any change of the constitution should be to reduce the powers of the president instead of increasing. Less power, less government. Atuoli will do well to remember the rallying cry at Bomas was, let's do away with the imperial presidency. So devolution is one aspect of dealing with that, removing the powers of the president, reducing. And people wanted a prime minister as another strategy to reduce the powers of the president. And then all these independent commissions we have, the chapter 15 or so, are they chapter 15 or chapter 9? I don't know those. These independent commissions. All these were put in place to kind of reduce the powers of the president. But even then, the president has enough powers to do the right thing and to do the good things for the people of this country. Yes.
How about the litigation fact that litigations are hindering the president from performing? He was given saying if someone kills, they're given bond and they come to the burial of the person who they killed and they go and say, see mimi niliua. These litigations, are they working for the country?
You know, litigations, on the face of it, that shows there's freedom. People are free. People are coming from bondage, from oppression and suppression. And here they are getting a new constitution. It gives them space. Let them breathe. Let them watch our kohoe. You see, we must read this against the background where they came from. Stifled. Wamenyongwa. Hapo wakawachiliwa. Watch our kohoe. Let them talk. But the bottom line is, or did the top line, I was learning the difference, I've forgotten. Why do people go to court? Especially those who sort of get orders like Omtata. They go to court because government will have engaged in violations. So what the government needs to do is to stop violating the law, ignoring the law, and follow the basics, provisions of the law and the constitution. And nobody will take them to court.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who think...
And listen to people. When you come up with housing, for example, housing levy, or the finance bill 23, 24 also, and you can see the whole country is against it. The whole country. Why do you then go ahead with it? Even this of Gachagua impeachment. The whole country was against it, but the government went ahead and they ignored. Okay? And you see the way they rushed the things. I can tell you here as I sit here, the number of litigations to follow from this Gachagua hatujaiona, hata ijaanza. There will be so many cases arising out of this Gachagua impeachment. That will enrich our laws. But again, when you wake up every day and go to court, when government is dragged to court every day, that I agree with Atuoli. That interferes with progress. So, let governments do the right thing. Specifically, let government listen to the citizens. Whatever good you are doing for the good of the people. And if the people tell you in overwhelming numbers that we don't want it, we know we need houses, but for now, no. And not in the manner in which you are bringing them. We don't believe you, we don't trust you. That doesn't make sense. Over 90% of people, almost 100, say no. Who are you doing it for? So if you are taken to court, you are the one who is inviting litigation, not the people.
You mentioned something when you were doing a show with Lynn Ngugi
about
courts not interpreting what they have given as a ruling.
Yes.
There's a case you were explaining that someone was going to argue about how court have ruled instead of courts coming out and just saying this is what we meant.
An order.
An order.
So it's going to be a subject of 3-6 month litigation.
What is the
Because one party is interpreting the order, in my view, very wrongly. And then the courts are saying, mention. Why can't they just say, oh, this is what it is meant? You know, in these courts of ours, they will be our undoing.
I'm asking you, what is the place of courts in dealing with this, so many litigations that come?
You see, courts are also lazy. Lazy, when somebody goes to court, they just grant an order without thinking. Why am I saying they are not thinking? Because in the fullness of time, when the case is now hard, all those orders against government, have they not removed? You stop a county government from working. The budget is stopped, like mine in Viga. Not once, not twice. Many things have been done, stopped. A governor sacks a CS, and the law is very, very clear that the president can hire and fire. The governor can hire and fire. When you hire, the only thing is the county assembly or the national assembly will approve. But when it comes to fire, and then the court stop the governor from, then the work is not going on. This is what Atwoli is talking about. Work is not going on. They have stopped the governor from firing somebody or from hiring or from implementing the budget. After all the nonsense, then the court say, no, go on. You hold the government like that for a year, then you say the finance bill is okay.
Yeah.
And you have stopped government from working. So the courts must also stop being lazy. I don't want to use that other word because I can find myself before that.
Yeah.
There are certain things you can give instant direction. Instant. Not everything requires litigation. It's the courts also who are inviting litigation. Look, if a guy has a fake certificate, somebody has fingered it, gotten him out, pointed him out, this is a fake certificate. He has argued, it has gone to court. Now, the prosecuting body, whether it be the police or say ODPP, he may let evidence go court. This man purports to have gone to Luombe Secondary School in 1965. In 1965, Luombe was even not an intermediate school, leave alone a secondary school. Yes, they have a secondary school now.
Yeah.
But that time he's saying it was only up to class 3 or 4. Facts from the Minister of Education. Simple fact. The school wasn't there then. It is there now, but then it was not there. And it's written on your certificate. You go to NEC, Kenya National Examination Council. Yes, this number is there, this index number, but does not belong to Jadel Kabiru. It belongs to Lavender.
And then we're listening.
Then the same man using the same certificate went to university. He has a University of Nairobi certificate. University of Nairobi writes clearly, in that year of Sakaja University iliandika barua.
Yes.
In that year, on the graduation list, hakuna mtu kama Jadel Kabiru alikuwa. The courts can do this case for 6 years. Our courts, they will kill this country. The courts, the judiciary will destroy this country. I'm telling you. Because we are getting to a place in this country where people may now want to take the law into their own hands, the way you suggested in the previous program. The courts will be our undoing in this country. 6 years, 3 years, a case like that. What are you waiting to listen to? You don't trust government institutions? The Ministry of Education tells you there was no such a school. Kenya National Examination says that index number is a forged index number. It belongs to somebody else, and they have brought the evidence. The University of Nairobi tells you, in that particular year, our graduation class doesn't have that. What is the court waiting for? So there are many cases the court can decide on the instant. And I have said, the courts should begin the process of clerking. In other words, Before you reach the bench, before you even reach the magistrate, there must be trained staff who have gone through your papers. And told yenyewe hii bwana, hata hii ni vitina. You can see this is a contradiction. Unasema hii na hii, we can't take this to magistrate. This is a contradiction. Can't you see? Oh, it was a mistake. Go and correct. Come back. Some clerical staff trained with some training, legal training, paralegal training, just looking at the filing and the inconsistencies, or to ask you now, okay, this one you'll need this paper and this paper. Go and look for it. In this instance, you need to have at least 3 witnesses. Go and look for them. Or they guide you. Before you... By the time you go to the bench, you have something. They don't stop you. You don't stop somebody from... but you look at the... Some people can even be advised. Na waone kweli. Hii hakuna mahali mimi naenda. Just waste time. This is a civil case. This is a... You know, even the police. The police will arrest people on purely civil matters. The police have no power to arrest anybody on civil matters. How many people are arrested in this country on purely civil matters that are not criminal, and they are held in police custody? Ashikwe pale ndio wenyewe waje walipe pesa ya mtu. These are things we can do something about. Sometimes now, when they see people are not coming to pay, wanamwekelea kakitu tuka ujinga pale anaenda. 4 years. The case is going on. So then you'd say Atwoli is not right on changing the constitution, but we should focus on the judiciary. Is that what you're saying? What I'm saying is this. They are not just the judiciary. Atwoli is not right in the sense that the president doesn't need more power than he has. He already has more powers. And I've also explained the people of Kenya at Bomas were worried about and concerned about the excessive power of the president. So we cannot return it. We have sufficient powers given to our president to deliver. Now, people go to court because government engage in deliberate violations. Number 2, governments refuse to listen to the people. And then the question that follows, if government doesn't listen to the people, for who are they doing those good things if the people are saying no? They don't want those houses. There's excessive taxation. Right now, I'm about 50% of my salary. I can show you my payslip. Anybody can come and check. I'm about 50. I haven't calculated well. January, there will be more. And NSSF, I'll go beyond 50%. So, afadhali serikali ichukue taxes, mimi nichukue ile imebaki. Afadhali mimi nichukue taxes, serikali ichukue ile imebaki. That's where we are now. So, those are excesses the government is engaged in. But again, the judiciary is also not helping. You get it? Yeah. When people take frivolous matters before the court doesn't help. They just stop. They stop government or the governor. Let me use a very good example. In my county, somebody stopped our budget. I was then a member of the Economic Budget and Economic Forum, CBF of the county. And for a long time, things were not working. And even when the government, the county tried to point out, to the court, I'm not very sure. If I'm not wrong, very right, somebody should forgive me. Because I'm trying to remember, it's quite some while back. That let's get a bit of this money as we wait for the litigation. I think that was not quite easily forthcoming. If it was granted, it was later. At a point, I wasn't following the case. And yet, the law on budget is very clear. That whatever issues arise, even as Senate and National Assembly are now in a tussle, I don't know that they have again finished. I don't follow these things so much these days. A county is entitled to 50% of what they received the previous year. You get it? If Mutua may stop budget, but the court should just, to make the governor not fear being in contempt of court, he has asked the court, can we use that provision? Why can't the court just say, this is in black and white? That whenever issues arise that may delay the budget, while those issues are being prosecuted or examined, a county is entitled to 50% of the money they got in the previous year. So our courts cannot even make simple decisions
Is this
to make things move.
Yeah.
And if you stop government of President Ruto and issue an injunction, why would it take you a year? Can the courts, because the courts must have like the economic division, whatever divisions, experts. They are guided by law and the judicial officers, but they are experts in their own right. You see? Who can now look at this thing and advise the bench accordingly, so that within a maximum of 30 days, if government had been injected and stopped from implementing a finance act, you get it?
Yeah.
It is done, and government is free to continue with its business or to change. In 30 days, the High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court should have pronounced itself on these simple matters. So government waits, the court waits for a whole year, holding the government's leg. That's why now Atwoli is right. Because umeshika mguu ya serikali. Sasa Atwoli anauliza, serikali inatakana iwe inakimbia, inatembea, inasaidia Wakenya na imefungwa miguu. Atwoli should also tell the courts, if you can process a presidential petition in 14 days, deciding on whether a finance act is constitutional or not should be done in 1 day.
Would you then agree with someone like Grand Muller, who talks about jurispesa? Or is it pesas prudence?
Hey, whatever.
Talking about this, our courts are being bribed. Could this be the case?
I have no...
Because you look at logic.
I have no evidence of any judicial officer receiving a bribe. Nobody has ever proved to me that a judge has been bribed. However, some of the judgments that come from court leave you wondering, because then it leaves you with only two possibilities. Either the judge is an imbecile or he has received money. I rest it there.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation about the power of the president, our constitution, and the judiciary. Logic versus pesas prudence, or is it jurispesa? Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.